that. Oh, okay. Well, nice to have you here, Nabeel. Thank you so much. And I guess what I really wanted to do is just ask you some questions about, because we spent a long time together.
Mhm.
I think on and off, it was probably around 3 months, maybe a little bit longer, I'm not sure. And I guess one of the things that, what this is all about is it helps other people figure out, is this something for me? Is it useful? Will I be able to change? And is it something that I should invest in terms of time and energy as well? So I guess the first question I wanted to ask, and if you don't know the answer, don't worry, but is, what challenge were you experiencing when you said, right, I'd really like to speak with Samina and I'd like to work with me? What was your challenge? What was it?
I think the initial reason I reached out to you was because I had too much going on with, my wife and my parents, and it felt like everything was just chaotic, and I needed to, um, needed to get some help so I could actually, manage all the things, balance all the things, and I think during our conversations, I realized it was more so my, confidence and my self-esteem that
Mm,
really, was the root problem of it.
wow. Yeah. No, no. And I know we did, it was like layers, isn't it? And we took off a lot of layers. So I think definitely confidence came up at one point. And what had you tried before? Like, had you tried anything before? Or was I the first?
No, so I actually did try. So with my wife, I tried couples counseling, and that was helpful, but it turned more into the therapist guiding me to handle, my parents better. So that did not last too long. And then after that, I tried individual therapy, just psychotherapy. So,
Yeah.
um, but the cognitive therapy was a little too slow. It was taking too long.
Mm,
And so I did not feel like it was as effective.
mm.
So I kind of moved away from that too.
Yeah. So then I guess on that note, because I guess the therapy that I do is rapid, did you feel like you were
Mhm.
moving forward a lot faster then with what we were doing?
Yeah, I think definitely with just targeting specific memories in my childhood that really um, brought me to realize those fears, those lack of confidence, everything resided within me for a long time,
Mm.
and it kind of helped me get over it. And the audio recordings that you shared with me, that was like the first step to kind of you know positive self-talk.
Yeah.
So I've been
Yeah.
doing that ever since. I don't listen to the recordings as much anymore,
Yeah.
but it kind of got me going towards positive self-talk, and that really helped.
Yeah, I loved your responses to them, and I think it's like your gifts and talents and your confidence was always there, and it's just about shaking off that rust and just
Yeah.
letting it come to its natural fruition, come to the front of you, and
Mhm.
I think that's what happens as adults. We do sort of suppress thoughts and feelings, and we do suppress
Mhm.
ourselves even. And I think it's so nice, and I love it that the work that we did together, that you actually shook free from that. And
Mhm.
Nabeel could come out, just
Yeah.
as you are, not trying to be perfect or hide flaws or anything like that.
Mhm.
And in this world, at the moment, this age, it's a really big thing, isn't it? Only put
Yeah,
your
definitely.
your best selfie forward, etc. So yeah, I am
Definitely.
really, really happy about that. So I guess, oh, this is a tiny question. If you didn't seek help, like if we hadn't worked together all those, time ago, what do you think would have happened if you had just carried on going along, figuring it out, trying to find people to help? What do you think would have happened?
I think it would have taken a lot longer. It would have definitely taken a lot longer because um, no matter regardless of who you go to, everyone's going to have different advice, and not all that advice works for every individual. So every individual is different, and
Right.
they progress through life differently. So I think the way we had our sessions, that was perfect for me because that's the kind of guidance I was looking for,
Mm,
and I was looking for more of that. love and, positive self-talk, like I said, approach where, I could fight that negative, low self-esteem and get over that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I love that. I love the fact that I feel that the end result is that you are now, more confident in yourself. But obviously, I don't, but it seems to me that you're better at making your decisions. Like you had to make some decisions, some real decisions. And, from what I could tell, I felt that you were more confident in that and trusting yourself. That was a big thing,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I remember. Gosh. And that's really awesome to have that feeling now, isn't it? That I can
Hmm.
do it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Honestly, that's brilliant. Okay, so we've talked a lot anyway, but just if I was to ask you, because what's the experience like? What would you say? What would you say that experience of working with me long term? What was it like?
I think um, it was good in the sense that, with everything that I was going through, and it was kind of like, every time we had a session, it was kind of like a recharge for me. It was kind of, helping me get through all the hardships that I was going through at the time.
Yeah,
So that definitely helped. And you being there supporting me for a longer period of time, that was definitely helpful. Just, listening to the recordings and working with you definitely kept me sane,
yeah.
if you want to call it that.
I'm
So,
totally proud of you, Nabeel, honestly. And you did it. It was all the work. You did the work. And obviously, as my role is just to facilitate it and try and sift out what's real and what isn't,
mhm,
because, there's a lot of things we tell ourselves that we think is real. And like you were saying
mhm,
about the positive self-talk, the opposite is a lot of negative, the inner
yeah.
critic, and we let that take over sometimes when it really doesn't need to. But that's really cool. So I guess it would be really nice to share what was your biggest aha moment working, through the program. What do you think was the biggest thing for you? I know you had a few.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Something that I still hang on to or still, kind of remind myself every now and then is, that child within me that I'm carrying now. And I need to be, kind of like the parent of that child and take care of that child.
Yeah,
And everything I wanted as a child, every interest, and, just protect that child. So try to, give them that love. So
yeah.
that always brings me back to, taking care of myself and loving. And so I definitely, that was like the aha moment, that I'm carrying that within me. I need to be the one to protect it.
Honestly, just listening to you, I'm like, you're right. Isn't that like the pinnacle of self-care? That's like where we all want to be, where we're looking back and we're thinking, okay, how can I parent myself better? How can I
Hmm.
reassure the younger self? Because the memories are there in the amygdala, and it's just about doing that work, and I think that just makes you even more in tune with yourself, doesn't it?
Hmm.
And
Definitely.
helping you go focus on what it is that you want now in life. Amazing,
Yeah.
honestly. All right, that's so cool. All right, so there's so much you've told me, but I'm going to ask you maybe four things. And this is like the results, isn't it? What's the biggest change that you've noticed in yourself? You've mentioned, self-talk, and what do even people say about you? Do people say anything different about you, or does it really matter? Your biggest transformation, or maybe even what people think?
So I think my sister, she's seen me go through all of it,
That's
and she's been, the strongest support system, strongest,
yeah,
person to support me through all of this because she knows everything. And she has recognized a big change within me. And she says that, my self-esteem is great, it's healthy now, and, just my confidence, my attitude has been different. And it's just like, I have more clarity. So I think with more clarity. Before it was all foggy, it was not clear, and it was just too chaotic. But now I'm able to, take a step back and think it through. And even with all these situations still coming up,
yeah,
um,
that happens.
I'm still able to, take a step back, think clearly, and compartmentalized, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So it's been a huge personality shift. That's what she said.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Gosh. And I can imagine with your role with your sister, being the big brother, it's going to be really amazing for her because, we don't realize it, but you're role modeling so much self-care, so much, what's actually important in life and what you value. And, you're valuing your self-worth as, God created you that way. That's just an amazing thing, So I'm so glad. I'm so happy for your sister as well. And then I guess you've mentioned so many things, and I guess the last thing is, would you recommend this? Working with me long term. Would you recommend my programs to others?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've been super supportive and super accommodating, and even, um, outside of sessions, you've been checking up on me, following up with me, and I really appreciate that. It feels like, you genuinely care about me, and you were, part of my struggle. It feels like you helped me get through it. So you
Yeah.
hold a, real dear place in my life and my heart, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you.
I mean, Jazakallah khair. I really appreciate that, and it is so cute. We've had a lovely relationship, and I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to be checking and to make sure that you're okay. But thank you so much. I'm just going to pause this now.